Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Darren from Bishop's Bees, and today we are making some Langstroth steel roofs. So just down here we've got a pile of steel that we had cut into to the right size, and believe it or not, there's about 600 kilos of steel there, maybe about 250 roofs. And this is for another commercial farm that these are being made for, the Langstroth ones. There's a few sheets of steel down here which are to make some national roofs as well. These will have Celotex insulation put into them as well, so they'll be well insulated, and they're quite a thick gauge of steel, so 0.9mm gauge of steel, so they'll support their own structure, and we spot weld the corners. So we'll make a bit of a start. So over here I've got a jig, and what this jig does is it allows me to run the store along it and cut a precise depth, and there's a marker slot, you might be able to see just in here, that I can line up with the cut point. So we're going to set the saw and make sure we get the right depth. Let's do that. Set my set square to the 45mm recess that we want, plus the 3mm of the guide, and then we can just set the saw height. We'll whip the battery up there just in case I start it up. So to do that, we just take the saw here, and we want to set that down. Probably a little. Okay, we'll just tweak the table bit up there. Wings again. Treat that one back. There we go. So that's set there. Put the battery back in. I'll put a fresh one in. Be better if I put a fresh one in. There we go. I'm going to take these. We'll grab one of those clamps there. So what we need to do is I'll set this camera up here looking down. There you go. So the first sheet's always the most difficult, because this is just to confirm that we set it right, and this then will be the guide piece for the rest of them. So we take the guide, we slot it on, we line it up, and I've already marked in the distance in for the recesses for these ones. And then once we set this sheet and confirm it's right, what we can do is use the same sheet to square it against the others and then mark. So all I've got to do is line the guide up, and I'll be able to do that with them on their end. So I'll be cutting across like that instead of having to cut down on this one. Now I'll just stick some gloves on. Glasses and ear defenders. It's a very good saw, but it does chuck little metal chips around. Not very pleasant. Line that one up. and we can check it, how deep it is, and we're just shy of the mark there. So what we'll do is just a gentle tap. He says a gentle tap. Right. So there, if you look here, cut goes right onto the mark. So what we do, now do the other side. Just double check that, and again you can see it's on the mark. So what we'll do now, clear all the tools off, get the safety gear off, and then what we've got on this lifter, we've already got some sheets on, so spin that round. Meet that. We'll have a few more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. So that brings the total number up to 10. And then we will square them up, clamp them together. Reset the set square to 45mm, and on this one we just need to go each side so that we got a point to line up the jig to. The WD-40 just helps lubricate the blade. Improves the cut. That's the first batch of 10 done, so you've got the cups in here, and then the folds will be made along here and then along here to square it all off, and then this will have 15mm PIR or Celotex insulation glued into the top here, which will provide a good insulation at the top of the hive. I mean, when you look at hive, where you want the insulation is at the top to keep the heat down. So I will crack on, move this sheet and clear some more. Decided, since I got a bad leg and lifting this up and down it's going to hurt me more, I'm just going to cut them all like this. This batch actually has, I think I've got 15 sheets, which is pretty much the maximum this lifter will take and hold, without a counterweight on the back. And this lift will actually move a full national hive, and a double brood one. So These sheets have been cut using a guillotine, which is it creates a nice edge, much quicker than trying to cut all these squares with a saw or something. And the company that I use this time, they've done a really nice job. All of them are exactly the same size. The last lot of sheets that I got done by company, they weren't so careful, so there was sort of some of the sheets were like a mil or so out from others, and 1 mil doesn't sound a lot, but when you're trying to set them square for cutting, sorry about that, the battery on the camera just died, so I switched over the battery and it's cut off a bit. So what I was saying about these boards, these sheets, is the company that I've used this time is guillotine cut them, and they got them very accurate. So they're all the same. They've set the machine up well, and they've cut them all the same. Unlike the last company I used, which they were off by sort of a mil either way, so it's quite difficult to sort of reset these boards and get them all squared up like that. So there's a lot of trimming up to do, which added a lot of extra work. So very grateful to them for getting that right and doing a good job of it. So I'm going to carry on. It's not far off lunchtime, but I'm looking after my kid today, my baby daughter. She's currently asleep, just out there. So I've got until she wakes up to do these, and then I'll have to continue tomorrow, or possibly on Saturday, because there is absolutely no rest. I also made myself a cup of coffee because you need something to keep you going. My wife always tells me I should drink more. I do believe that would probably impair my ability to do this. So far we've done about a fifth of the pile, so that means that we've got about 200 more to go. The reason I'm using my lifter instead of trying to put this on a bench is because I can set the arms on this lifter so they've been closed in, and it means that I can get round to all four sides. Unlike on a bench, you'd have to keep spinning it round, which would make it more time consuming, harder to do. So this one way is a little bit quicker and a little bit easier. Also, I can adjust the height a little bit, so I can lift it up a little bit to make life a bit easier. Right, I'm going to have to come to a stop with this today, as my daughter has woken up. So I will have a bit of lunch, and then spend the afternoon in the office, and playing with her. So that wraps it up. Thank you for watching. I will pick this up probably on another video a later day, when I cut the other 200 and odd sheets, and then after that we will do the folding. I'll do a video of that. So we've got folding this edge and this edge, and then we'll fold this edge and this edge, and then we'll weld all the corners, weld up the corners, and we put the galvanised spray on to stop it rusting, and we just clean them up, and then we will have to cut the insulation when that arrives, and insert it into the roofs and secure it in and glue it in. Alright, thank you for watching, and see you next time.